Hey, my name is Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. It's happened again. So, yesterday was Spillway. What an amazing freaking day. I may sound a little hoarse here. It was a long, long day yesterday, but so very, very awesome yesterday. Had such an amazing time. It was fantastic. And I'll tell you what, met a lot of amazing people yesterday, caught up with a lot of amazing people. Some people that are, members of the channel, some that are Patreon, some people that have won on some of the giveaways. Was able to get a bottle for a fellow YouTube friend, Cutlass. He wasn't able to make it down. He had some family stuff that he had to take care of. Always family first. He had some family stuff he had to take care of. He really planned to be there, but he couldn't make it down. But one of his friends was there. And oh my gosh, there's so many great stories. But I'll tell you what, let me start with that story right there. So, Cutlass had been looking for a James E. Pepper. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I can get one in the area, and I said, look, we had planned that, hey, we're going to link up when we go ahead and we get to Spillway. And he's like, man, something came up. I've got some family stuff. And I'm like, dude, family first, don't worry about it. And I just happened to ask him on off chance. I said, do you by chance have anyone that's going to be hanging out down there that can maybe I can give them this bottle and they can bring it back to you, and he's like, well, as a matter of fact, I do have a friend that's going to be there. I'm like, well, awesome. I said, and in the morning we'll hook up and we'll talk and, you'll tell me who it is and we'll hang out and stuff. He's like, okay, cool. So, we get there and we meet these super nice people, two super nice groups, some Cajuns, some Louisiana LSU people that were just fantastic. Absolutely loved hanging out with them. And I'm going to put some pictures and some video to all this too. But I'll tell you what, I'm a bad YouTuber in the fact that when I get at events like this, I don't pull out the camera and talk to a lot of people. I just want to talk to people. And I just want to have a good time. And I want to hang out with the people that are there. And it was amazing because I had so many amazing people that came up and said hey to me and shook my hand, and we shared some pours and we talked about things. Maybe then they got to hang out in the area where we hung out with this wonderful family from Oklahoma. I'm gonna have to tag the young lady in this. She's actually just starting a YouTube channel as well. She works at Disney. She's kind of talking about that experience and stuff, and she travels with her dad all over the place. He's a teacher in the summers. They go places, so he takes his kids with him. He was like, hey, we're getting up diving in the morning. And he said, it doesn't matter where we're going. My son's up and ready in the car. My daughter's ready to travel with me. And so they drove from Oklahoma to come out to Spillway. And we just had a great time. And she did a nice interview with me, and she was able to meet Bruzel and talk with him a little bit. And so I'm going to put her in this, and hashtag her on this too, because I want her to see that I absolutely appreciated spending time with them yesterday. They welcomed us into their spot, which was awesome, and we got to camp out kind of with them. And the one couple was cooking up some amazing sausage, and there was right across from us there was some crawfish. And then the family from Oklahoma, they had a big old table of different boozes and stuff, and we put out a bunch of different bourbons and stuff too, and shared a bunch of pours and had a really, really nice time. But while we're sitting there, we're just having a great time and sharing some pours and cutting up and eating, waiting for the drawing and stuff. Cutlass is like, hey, his I'm gonna, where are you at, and send me a picture and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I'm out here and I send him a picture. I show him right where we're at and this, that, and the other, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the guy that we've been hanging out all morning comes up to me. He goes, man, he says, Robert. I said, yeah, Cutlass. He's like, yeah. He says, he shows me his phone, and Cutlass sending the picture of me, and we've been hanging out all morning already, having some pours. So I just thought that was just freaking awesome. So we got to hang out. Robert, he got me a fantastic bottle. This Hewling Station right here, it's a single barrel. This is from Gaslight. It's coming in 111.4 proof. He sent me some awesome samples. He also sent me some amazing cigars, and I'm like, dude, Cullis, I can't wait to get into this. I am absolutely looking forward to this. So thank you so very much. And it was just so neat that we were already hanging out with your buddy that was there. We were already having some pours and have a good conversation, having some great food. And I just, it's just kind of like one of those serendipitous moments that you had a great time. It's cool. I got up at like 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. That Saturday morning and met my buddy Chris, and we drove, 5+ straight hours to get there. We took off about 3:30 in the morning. That's, of course, I live in Eastern, but it changes to Central once you get, 30 miles down the road. But we drove 5 straight hours plus to get there. Got there, met some very welcoming, nice people. Got to sit down, started sharing pours. A bunch of people from, the Auburn area, from, from the area that were so nice, that are members of the channel, started coming over. We got to hang out, share a bunch of pours, talk about a bunch of stuff. And it was just so cool. And then the fun part begins. The lotteries are, Bruzel's there. It was really cool. He come by and we talked and stuff. And, like I said, it was just really, really neat. Got to hang out with the guys from the Life in the Patio out there, or Life on the Patio out there. They got me some amazing pours and stuff. And I was like, man, this is so freaking cool. And don't let me think I forgot this. Number one, I owe you guys a 6-pack. Okay, I owe you guys a 6-pack of 2-ounce pours. So we got to get together on that. But I also got one of you guys' mini Glens. Unintentionally, I was walking off with it, and I got one of your mini Glens. So I've got to get you that mini Glen back as well when I get you your 6-pack. So don't think I just like, dude, I took off your stuff. Because there was a few things that took off on me yesterday. They never made it quite back, but I'm hoping they found good homes yesterday. So like I said, had a great time. Chris got to hang out. I got to hang out with Dan. Got to hang out with his son out there, which was outstanding as well. It was just neat to see a father and son, hang out and have that bond and that dynamic and do something like that together. And like I said, the father from Oklahoma, Sam, and his daughter was there. Just as neat to see that bond too. And just, it didn't, we had a bunch of people that just were hanging out. We didn't know each other when we first got there, some of us, but we were family and we just acted like family. We had a good time. I had some pours, had some beverages, hugged some necks. And it was amazing. And like I said, I was able to get way too many freaking bottles, but it's fun. That's the fun part about it. So let me kind of go through some of the bottles, and you can kind of see, some of the stuff that kind of occurred yesterday. So first thing, I'd like to talk about here is this right here. Man, this is from, and I believe I might be right on this, Chris, and he'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think this might be a 13th Colony double oaked barrel stave that he's turned into something for flights. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. Chris, if I'm wrong, correct me on that, but I believe that's what it could have been. I could be wrong though. But you saw how much I enjoyed the one from Troy at Baker Drinks. And I think this is fantastic. You see Chris's initials in there. I think that's freaking really, really cool. So absolutely. And when someone goes out of their way and spends their time, to do something, it always has a special meaning. And this is something that I'm always going to treasure and I absolutely appreciate. And Chris, he also got me this awesome bottle right here. This 1792 single barrel. But this one right here is a single barrel select, but it's for those who served. So this has a lot of special military meaning behind this. I don't know if I'm ever going to crack it now. So, we'll see. I talked about a couple of weeks ago, I've never had one of these. And then within 2 weeks, I've got 3 bottles, 2 store picks, and then a standard one. And I am just so very, very grateful for that. One of the other store picks was from one of the guys that was there. It was there yesterday. Michael Trott was out there. He brought his Infinity bottle and got to hang out with us too, which was so cool. I absolutely love that. And Chris, thank you very much. On top of that, Chris, let me set this down here so I don't lose some of this stuff because golly, I've got a lot of stuff. The Class 6 out there on Fort Moore had a bunch of different store picks, and he was able to get me 6 of the 9 total store picks that they have done out there so far. And I am just so very, very thankful for that. So it's neat to have a collection of the samples of the store picks that have occurred out there. And a lot of these he was a part of. Tim out there on the Class 6, Derek, who's no longer in this area, but was a part of this bourbon group in this area. He's a part of that. So there's some neat history behind not only just the pours, but how these were selected them and who selected them. So it's got a really neat story behind that. And I absolutely love that. And yesterday, we were talking about, I got to get out there and I got to see Dan and his son yesterday, Zach. And we had talked about some Southern Collective stuff. He actually went to Southern Collective last week, and he had called me. He's like, "Man, these people are amazing." I'm like, "I know," and I was able to pick up some stuff for him. But he got some amazing stuff for me. He got this Peerless. This is their double oaked, and Dan's got a fantastic palate. And when he tells me this is my second favorite double oak behind the 13th Colony, that sings high praises. And I am looking forward to opening this up and check this out. But I got a lot of bottles I got to work on now. I'm just telling you, it's a lot of stuff. And this, like I said, I hadn't even got to the lottery part yet. This was just hanging out with friends and getting some amazing stuff yesterday. And so I've got this Peerless Double Oaked, and then you're probably looking at this one right here, going, "What the heck?" So this is the E.H. Taylor. This is a barrel proof. I fell in love with this bottle right here. And so, we were talking, and Dan was like, "Hey, there's a pour that my son would really, really like. And, do you think that you can bring it for him?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Have you had this one yet?" He's like, "No." So I said, "Dude, game on." I brought him and his son the pour that he was asking about. I also brought him a James E. Pepper pour because he said he never had that, so they could have that. And he's like, "I'm looking for this pour as well." And I said, "I actually have that bottle, and I'm willing to trade it if you have something that you'd be interested in trading." And he says, "I've got one of these." And it's a fair trade. It's a very fair trade. And I said, "Absolutely, man." Because he actually, this is his backup bottle on this, and it's now going to be my backup bottle, which won't be a backup long as much as I like it. But it's something that I would really, really like. And I knew it was something that he would really, really like and his son would really, really like. So we traded out a bottle yesterday for that. And I was like super excited about that. I'm like, that is killer right there. That is absolutely killer. So fantastic about that. And like I said, and it's funny because we both even said, if we get to the lottery, and Chris had this same mindset as we were traveling there. We're like, you know what? If we don't get anything, we're still going to be happy. It's going to be a great day. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some pours. We're going to be around good people, we and kind of you almost have that expectation that everyone's going to treat you like family and it's going to be a great time. And it absolutely was. Bruzel's crew that was out there with him too. I was chatting up with Bruzel's wife. She had won something, was in line, and his team out there, they're just awesome people. Had a great time with them. But the best part too is just the randomness of people that you get to hang out with and you get to see. But like I said, it's like you walk into family. You don't walk into anything crazy. It's like, well, technically crazy. Now some of the people we have maybe have a little bit different disposition, but they were all great-hearted people, which was the fun part. Some of them hoot and holler a little louder than others, but we all had a great time and had great conversations. And then the lottery starts. So the first bottle that I was able to get out of their lottery, and I didn't get anything super early. I didn't get any super early numbers on that, but that's fine. They are so fair with the way they do things out there. I think that they're very organized. I think that they did a great job with the group of people that were out there, and I think the people did a great job of managing things for themselves too. So I was very impressed with the whole situation. But this first one was, this is the Crittenden's Cut Above. This is the Oloroso Sherry Cask. This is coming in at 116 proof. It's a 4-year. It's picked by the Mississippi Sippers with their very neat, interesting group too. So I was very excited about getting this. So excited that as soon as I got this, I put it on the table because we had this big old table of stuff. And I put it on the table and said, "Look, anyone wants to try it? Let's try it." And so we probably, about third plus of this bottle ended up going yesterday. But that's the point of this, and I made this point a few times yesterday. And I guess I said it so much, Chris even says, you know what? That'd be a great thing to say maybe on your channel or something like that. And it was, bourbon, once it's open, or bourbon like people, we have expiration dates. We're not promised that the bourbon's going to be good tomorrow, or that we're going to be here tomorrow to enjoy it. So when you have that opportunity, enjoy that moment and live it. We're all have expiration dates, but while we're in that moment, enjoy that moment, have a great time, and build memories. I think the greatest thing that we built yesterday was the memories. And Chris and I talked, we had a lot of windshield time yesterday, probably 10 and a half, 11 hours worth of windshield time yesterday. But we talked about life and the memories and our kids, and our families, our wives and stuff. And we just talked about, it's not necessarily the bourbon, but it's what the bourbon can bring to you, which is those conversations or building those memories or things like that. So first bottle in the batch, and I was very, very excited about that, and I think it was awesome. The gentleman that Matt, he that runs his own distillery. If you ever seen the Bruzel video, he basically does everything himself. He was out there, and you'll notice he signed a lot of these bottles and stuff too. But that was the first one I had an opportunity on, and I was super, super stoked about that. Had a great time with it yesterday, and as we go back through, and they had different activities that were there. They not only had some food trucks, and like I said, everyone had their own table set up, and everyone was sharing pours. They had this infinity barrel that Bruzel was making out there. So, had a couple bottles. Chris had a bottle. I had a bottle. We dumped them in there, and then, they give you a sticker on your bottle, the Bruzel Infinity sticker here, and then they put it back in the bottle that you brought, which I brought a Four Roses single barrel. And he was kind enough to actually sign it, which is really super cool. Chris is actually, we thought that the bottle had accidentally walked off or taken off, but Chris found it. And went over there and actually had TJ sign it, which I think is super, super cool. And I'll tell you, we talked about this. I'm going to wax this, and I'm going to use it as a giveaway, because I just think it's a neat thing to have on your bar. And I think it's a neat talking point to have. And I enjoy having lots of talking points, but I'd like for somebody else that maybe wasn't there, that didn't get one of these bottles, to maybe have that on their bar, to have it as a talking point, have some fun. If you choose to crack it, that's yours to do what you want with it. I'm just going to wax it up and make sure it's sealed well so I can get it into someone's hands safely. But that'll be in a future giveaway. So absolutely looking forward to seeing Infinity and Beyond Bruzel signed, end up in somebody else's hands eventually. So I think that'll be super cool. And it had the opportunity to go through some other stuff. There was, like everybody else, there were some things I wish I could have got that I didn't get. But that's okay. I got so much stuff. I'm happy and I'm pleased. One of the things I wish I could have got was some of the Detling store picks. I actually would like to pick one up for a friend, Rusty, but I wasn't able to pick up one of the Detling store picks. So I was like, that's okay. You can't get everything. But man, look at this. This right here. This is the pecan edition. This is the Cut Above Crittenden's pecan edition, and it's signed, which is super cool. And of course, it's another Mississippi sippers pick. And so, this was one of their ones that when I got a mid round, and it's probably like 50th in that round, because they gave away like 120 bottles an hour or something like that. This was one of the allocated bottles that they had there. And I was really, really keen on getting this bottle. I wanted it for myself because I wanted to try it out. Wanted to support, a local distiller who I think is doing an amazing job. Not only, he's in Mississippi, he's got a group of guys that are picking his barrels for him and stuff like that too. And of course, Spillway's in Mississippi, and stayed over from Alabama. You want to support local businesses, and I thought it was a great time. But it's great. It's great juice too, so that makes it a little bit easier there. So excited about that. then like I said, there we went. I went all in on some Crittenden and stuff yesterday. So this one right here, this is I'm trying. It's some kind of a Manhattan, but it's a whiskey, and it's coming in at 102.7 proof. Of course, it's signed again, which is super freaking cool. Um, and it's got the Mississippi Sippers. They were the ones that selected this as well, uh, hand selected by them. So that's the third different type of Crittenden that I got, and I'm like, and I said to my buddy and Chris, we talked on the way there. Look, if we just get one of these bottles, I'll be happy. This, he wanted a certain bottle of the pecan. I believe he got that one as well. But we got some different things and stuff. When I went in the first time, and I was like, oh yeah. This when I was able to get this Oloroso, I'm like, I got an extra one, and I got it for you, Chris. I got the extra one for you because I want to make sure he got it. Because you're not guaranteed to get in there, but I happened to get in there. I was able to get a second one. I got it. So then we come down to the fun part. My buddy, member of the channel, member of the Patreon, personal friend of mine. He's also, I think, next week he's going to do a barrel pick at Jack Daniel's for a local group. Very excited about that for East Alabama, West Georgia. Very excited for him and the group there. I'm glad I just get to be a part of that group. But he's going to be doing a Jack Daniel's barrel pick for our group. So looking forward to that. But he was like, hey, if you have the opportunity, can you get me their cigar batch? So I was able to get two of the Crittenden Stogie batches. And so I was very, very excited about this. Of course, they're both signed. So, he'll have that dilemma. Do I open it or leave it on my shelf because it's signed? and eventually, he wants to do a pick with them as well. And he's like, you've got to come when we do the pick. And I'm like, okay, that'd be a lot of fun, and I think that would be cool. I'm looking forward to that because I would love to spend and pick the brain of Matt a little bit more. He was so busy yesterday, but he was so gracious with his time that I absolutely appreciated getting to meet him and him taking the time to sign the bottles. He personalized a bottle for Chris's brother while we were there, which I think is outstanding and amazing, that he did that for him. I know his brother is going to be over the moon with that. So very, very excited about that. So, and then, I've talked about Crittenden, and then I was able to get two other bottles that I really, really wanted. I actually picked up two of the toasted K. Luke bottles yesterday. This is batch 2, and I've heard that, and I'll tell you what, I believe it was Terrence and Dave, and then uh, who else clued me in on that? Maybe Gandhi clued me in on how good it was. K. Luke really is. And they were the ones that helped me get some K. Luke because it's not distributed in this area. And so when I had the opportunity, I picked up this batch number 2 toasted and this K. Luke batch number 8. Maybe it was Michael Bortner that also said some stuff on that too. But I was able to pick up 2 of the K. Lukes. I actually picked up an extra toasted, which I'm getting to my friend Dan, who was there yesterday, because he didn't get one. And I didn't realize that before. I think he had left before I'd actually got that other bottle. But I got it for him. So, Dan, I'm looking forward to you and your son having that and building some more memories with that. I think that that's outstanding. And so that's just all the bourbon talk, but it doesn't really capture just how cool the environment was yesterday. Like, I had such a good time with people that were willing to just share pours and, you know, and I think it's a lot of places, but I always kind of think of like a Southern value type of thing. And I'm not originally from the South. Now remember that I'm born and raised in Vegas. So, it was a little bit different there growing up, but I've been in the South now since 92. So I'm born again Southern, I guess is what we'd call it. But the one thing that I've always learned about Southern people is the hospitality and the way that when you come into their house or you're coming to something that they're doing, that they want to bring you in like you're part of the family and they're going to put their best stuff out for you. And that was like every single place that we were at yesterday. And it didn't matter if they were from Oklahoma, it didn't matter if you're from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Those are just some of the Tennessee. So those are just some of the places, the people that we talked to that I got to talk with yesterday. And everyone wanted to treat you well and they wanted to give you great pours. I mean, Chris was having a great time wandering around. And he was just looking at this guy, and the guy was like, "Hey, would you like to try anything on the table?" And he's got a 17-year-old bottle of Heaven Hill there. And he says, "Would it be all right to try that?" And he says, "Yeah." Chris pops it and has a sip of it. And the guy looks at Chris and goes, "Do you have a friend that might like it?" And Chris is like, "Matter of fact, I might." And so he comes wandering down and grabs me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to try something 1792 17 year?" This guy was telling me if I got a friend to bring him up. I'm like, I would love that. And it just happened to be at the same time. Bruzel was there. And I said, TJ, would you like to maybe come up here and try some of the 17-year Heaven Hill with this guy too? And he's like, yeah. So we went up there, and, they had a little fun and picked at each other a little bit. But, it's just neat that how people wanted to share so many amazing pours yesterday. And I was telling Chris, it kind of reminds me of exactly what it's like in December at the Bourbon Drop. People just want to share some of their best stuff because they want to see what it's like when you have that moment. When you get into something, you go, "Oh, that's pretty special right there." And so, like I said, out of everything that happened yesterday, the most important thing that I got were memories. I've got tremendous memories with amazing people and an amazing time, and I'm so very thankful for that. I'm so very thankful that Chris got to go with me yesterday, that I got to see so many of you out there that just came up and said, "Hey, I won this," or "Hey, I see you on your channel," and just got to talk with you for a minute. You spent some of your time with me yesterday. Some of you gave me some pours, or we sat down and we talked about things. And, I know I was all over the place. I wish I could have spent so much time with all of you yesterday. But I'm glad I got to spend the time that I did. So thank you very, very much for that. Whew. That was long-winded. And there's probably more stories that I'm just not saying right at this moment. And if I slighted anybody by not saying anything, I tried not to mention names because there's so many people that I've absolutely have forgotten the name, and I will feel bad. But I just want to tell you, I thank every one of you, and I can't wait to get out there. And I mentioned to a few people out there. I said, I think Lee, you were one of them. And according life from the patio, or life on the patio, I said, hold me accountable in the comments because I told you I'd send you this. So Lee, you were one of those guys that said I'll send something to you. So reach back out to me. Talk about getting some stuff to people. We had 3 winners, 2 from the Patreon, and then we have one that was from the regular drawing on this. I'm very, very excited about it. So last week I put in the comments that if you said this phrase, spring is here, that you would have an opportunity for a 2-ounce pour from this Old Forester that I got at the Bracket Buster drop this past weekend. I think it's a very good pour. So I drew the names, and I'll show it at the very end of the video. Plus, I'm going to have some video to kind of show what it was like there, plus some pictures and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm a bad YouTuber because when I go to events, I don't record like I probably should. But it's because I want to live the moment. I love living that moment. And that's something I got from a good friend, Matt, that told me I got burned out living behind the camera. So I wanted to enjoy the moments and retell the story. And I may suck at retelling a story, but that's what I do. So the winner on the spring is here. Skydog Kevin, congratulations on the win of the 2-ounce pour. You also have a bottle that you had won previously that we talked about. Once you got back in town, we'd get together. So I'll have that 2-ounce pour to go with that. I'm very excited for you on that, Kevin. Congratulations. So then also on the Patreons, we had a 2-ounce pour. And then we also had the Blanton's Mini right here. So the first winner will have the opportunity on whether they want the 2-ounce Old Forester single barrel proof pour, or if they want a Blanton's Mini. And that Patreon winner was Eric Andrews. Eric, congratulations, brother. I'm so excited to see some of this getting to you. I absolutely appreciate all your support and everything that you've done for me. And it's neat just to see your name pop up. And the second winner will have, whichever Eric chooses, the other one's going to be left over for them was Ryan B. Ryan, congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing what Eric has picked, so I can get that other one into your hands. You're gonna have something cool that you can enjoy, or just set up on your bar. You can have a really nice pour either way. So I'm very, very excited about that, and absolutely looking forward to that. Whew, man, so what do we do now? It's Sunday. It's time to give away another pour, isn't it? I like giving away pours. So you know what? Let's celebrate a little bit. So this one yesterday, this is Cut Above. This is Crittenden's. This was selected by the Mississippi Sippers. Like I said, this one earlier is coming in at 116 proof, finished in Oloroso sherry casks. It's a 4-year bourbon that was finished in Oloroso sherry casks. How about if you simply put in the comments Mississippi, Mississippi. So put Mississippi somewhere in the comments. And then next week I'll pull a winner for a 2-ounce pour of this one. You know, it'd be neat to support, like I said, a local business and someone that's doing things the right way. And it was selected by a group of people in that area that I'm very excited about and very proud of the way they do things too. So looking forward to that. Patreons, I'll also be doing a drawing for you on that as well. So you'll have a shot not only in this video, but in a Patreon drawing as well, Patreon only drawing for a 2-ounce pour of this as well. Said a lot today, but you know what? I don't think I could probably talk for hours more on how much fun yesterday was. You know, you talk about the moments where time kind of slows down. You know, we work a lot. You know, we work very hard, but we don't live to work. We work to live. And so, you know, if you're working today, like I'll be going back to work on Monday tomorrow. I hope your work day goes by fast. I hope you're successful. I hope you bring great energy. But when you get off, I hope time slows it down. It slowed down for me yesterday. I got to walk around. I got to have some great pours. I got to have some great food. I got to meet some amazing people. I got to catch up with some amazing people. You know, I got to pick at some people and have a good time with them yesterday, you know, and then have great conversation, you know, not only there, but on the way there and on the way back. And so time dialed it down a little bit for me. So I was very, very thankful for that. But most importantly, y'all, cheers and God bless. You all have an amazing day.